From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Yeah, everybody, Rob Cairns here. I'm the CEO, Chief Creator, Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. In this week's podcast, I have Ryan Waterbury, my monthly co-host, with me with Agency Chat, and we talk about making decisions for your agency. Grab a drink, sit back, relax, enjoy the.
Thank you very much for listening to the STM Show. The STM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital concierge. For all your digital marketing needs, especially WordPress security, jump on over to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and let's help you put the pieces together and make your business succeed in the marketing realm. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. I hope everybody's doing well. Today I have my good friend Ryan Waterbury with me, and we're going to do his monthly segment now branded as Agency Chat. How are you today, Mr. Waterbury?
I'm doing mostly good.
Yeah, we were talking before the show, you've had some, shall we say, payment challenges, to say the least.
Yes, and that it's a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about today and why I'm making some decisions around what I'm doing with my agency. And I finally feel comfortable calling it my agency again, and not just a solopreneurship. That things are changing and changing for the better.
And
So
as you know, I don't call mine an agency anymore. Mine is a digital concierge, as you know. So
you and Spencer both.
you can blame Mr. Foreman for that one. He want me to say that, but it does make some sense for how I've been positioning myself. So it actually suits me better, to be fair. And yes, that came out of a podcast record that Mr. Spencer and I did recently, actually. So he's giving some really good ideas when he's chatting. So.
That was actually one of the catalysts, the final spark when I thought about it, that I'm doing some of those things, but also doing more things. And just the history, I think I've talked about it, where with Solo starting in 2016, slowly built up,
Yep.
started bringing on contractors in 2017, 2018, and for spot jobs. And then 2019, I started doing some larger projects at, the enterprise or the large business sector level. And those projects are difficult to manage solo. You can do it, but you need to employ contractors to accomplish specific goals within there. And then after, they need help, they need support. There's ongoing maintenance. There are marketing pieces to it, SEO, social media management. And so I was starting to build a team of contracted employees going into 2020, and had talked with my accountant and looked at bringing them on full time, some in the States, some across the pond, and was really preparing for that. And then, of course, I was deep into the hospitality industry,
Yep.
Local, small, independent owned businesses, doing a lot of local SEO, web design, and PPC marketing. And, so saw some really good returns in a market that has razor thin margins,
Yep.
and seeing success there. Well, all those businesses shuttered, and I had to pivot back to being a solo agency owner. Almost closed up shop. It was a pretty depressing time. Some couple of months there, I billed $300. It was pretty
Yeah,
bleak.
it was a rough go for a lot of people, especially in the hospitality. As you know, due to NDAs, I can't name them, but I have one really large hospitality client, and you know who they are. We've talked about this offline. And I have to tell you, and they're a multinational, and they went through hard times. The COVID screwed up a lot of people's business. So we always talk, it's funny, we talk about how the small businesses generated revenue from e-commerce and stuff, but what we saw was the big companies actually backed off their spend. And And they've ramped it back up because, you were talking about PPC. I'll tell you, PPC costs have gone up. And one reason
Oh,
PPC
absolutely.
up is
Yeah,
the Fortune 500
that's
have all jumped into PPC.
absolutely. And we saw I just saw a large shift in spend even in the small to mid-market companies with some of my local clients that spend increased dramatically starting in June because SEO has become so volatile with what Google's done with AI and the junk content out there, and it's been difficult. So a lot of people went back to tried and true, and said, okay, we're going to spend our dollars where we know we're going to get revenue back,
Yep.
and not lose our investment next month when Google changes and rolls out an update. Well, that's a very specialized skill set,
Yep.
and I've been fortunate that alongside doing software development and building websites, that was one of my niches that I served, and starting to add that back, and then doing back end development, front end development, design, web care updates. My accounting's a few months out of date, and granted, I don't have a ton of transactions, so it'll be an hour to get back up to date. But you start to look at where you spend your time,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I've constantly been dealing with patch updates and looking at journals and hacker news because we're not the only ones that take advantage of AI.
Go to the
The
go to the hackers. If I had a dollar from every time a hacker did something, I would be one rich man, my friend.
So that's starting to consume more time with security and just keeping up on updates and making sure things don't break during an update has started, to take some time. So I started to look at I've forged some strategic partnerships with other solo agencies and contractors, and that's helped a ton with new project work. But the retainer work that we're starting to bring back into the agency,
Mhm.
uh, it sparked, an idea that I was really gun shy to bring anyone on after I had told a couple of individuals, "Hey, I'm going to bring you on either part-time or full-time as an employee." And then a month later had to tell them, no, can't do it because I lost all my business.
Yep.
Um, so I've tried to avoid doing that for a while and not be a boss. But there comes a point where you hit that wall and you
Mhm.
can only do so much as an individual, and even with good partnerships.
Yep.
So I've made the decision to go back and look at bringing some contract employees on a trial basis starting around the first of the year,
Mhm.
and really grow some of the recurring revenue and ongoing services like SEO, PPC, and security that require that attention.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It's funny because, and what we're talking about, this is really an agency chat, but this could apply to a brick and mortar
Any
store. It
business.
could apply to any business. And one of the hardest parts is small business owners don't like to let go. I have that problem. You have that problem. We both do. And
Exactly.
my mentor, Paul Toby, and those in the WordPress space don't know, he's the father of Adrian Toby of Groundhog fame. One of my mentors, one of the things he taught me and enforced, and I always had this philosophy, but he really enforced this. If you don't have time to do it, hire somebody to do it. If you don't like
Mhm.
to do it, hire somebody to do it. If you hate doing it, hire somebody to do it and concentrate on what you like to do and what makes you money. That was Paul's theory. So let's talk even more beyond hiring contractors. Let's just start with the
Sure.
business. I
Mhm.
recently brought on a VA who's Canadian part-time, full-time actually, 40 hours a week.
Mhm.
And not only am I paying a reasonable hourly wage, I'm paying health benefits there. And because I'm not big enough to have group policy, I'm paying individual health benefits. Only in care is still worth it. That
Sure.
alone has taken stress off me. So I'm not chasing clients for bills. I'm not chasing clients for renewals. I'm not. So that alone is the best thing I did. So that's number one. Both you and I use an accountant. I don't even do my own accounting anymore. I don't even enter my own books. I take all my scanned receipts every month and flip them to my accountant and say, here you go, fix my books this month. And by the way, dog's your uncle. Goodbye. And I'm using Wave apps for accounting, and he has access to it, and he just goes in and does it. When I moved from QuickBooks to Wave apps, I didn't do the move. I paid him to do it and just said, do it for me. I want it done right. Just do it. Here you go. As you know, I have a lawyer on retainer for business and personal use, and that is a whole new ballgame. And that's a minefield in my life, as you know. So there's that. So here's three big examples, and I haven't even gotten into what I'm actually doing to make money. These are just to support my business and my lifestyle.
Exactly. Yeah, the interesting thing is you pointed out all the reasons people hire initially and the ones that you think about. And that's just, basic maintenance of, your life and getting back to that 8 hour day. I'm lying, where it's not going to happen. Even if you hire some of those things out, you're still going to have some long days. But, take away the pain points first. And I've built systems. I've automated as much of it as I can and laid the groundwork to let other people use those systems. So the first steps, in hiring are, like your accounting. I have an accountant, but she files my taxes. She doesn't do my books. So that bookkeeping is going to be offloaded because it's something I don't want to do. And somebody else is better at finding the loopholes to save you money on taxes. Great. VA is next, that like you've done to handle some of the admin tasks. Great. But one thing that struck me is a fellow marketer, and you talk about letting go. He said the trick to growth is hire somebody to do the things that you like to do, that you're good at.
Yep.
He said that's when you grow. And when I really thought about that statement, that's when it made sense to start looking at, I can design, but I know there's somebody out there that can do it better. So my first hires are going to be a front end developer and a designer, and to take care of some of the project work. And then we're going to look further at bringing on some help for PPC and SEO and really grow that part of the business. Because I'm seeing some good success just doing it on my own right now. And, you can only do so much. So the first part that I've always done, like you've done, get rid of your pain points. Then the second part, that's the much more difficult part. And this is where I think a lot of small business owners struggle, is that letting go part and hiring someone to do what you're good at doing and why you started the business.
And trusting them, that's the big thing. It's the trust level. So it's getting to that point. And, I'm at the point now where, as you know, I don't like doing site design anymore. I can't. I'm working on a project right now because I like the client, but a lot of my big stuff, I just go, goodbye, add 30% and, be done with it. Right. And it's like, and I'd rather, because I don't enjoy the back and forth. I like the project management side of it. I don't like the doing side of it. And I don't know if I've ever told you, but I'm actually a PMI by trade, by background too. So that's one of the 17 sets of letters I can throw after my name if I choose to and get pissed off at somebody tomorrow. But yeah, and project management is an effort. But it's more than that. So we've got the accountant and the administrative side out of the way. And now we're looking at hiring. But I think more importantly, when we're hiring, we got to have our processes and procedures in place. Like, how do you do email? What app do you use the email? You use Workspaces, I believe, if I'm right. And I've gone to Fastmail, and my VA's on Fastmail. I'll tell you that now. How do you do that? Do you want your VA to have access to your inbox? And that's always a dicey one with some people.
Sure.
Fortunately, my VA is a family member, so I don't care. So she's got access to my inbox, and she goes in and she'll answer email for me on my behalf. That's business related. The personal stuff just kind of leaves it. So there's that, and then the procedure, the policies go more. Is your invoicing procedure documented so that the person that's handling all that, your VA, can they just follow it? Stuff like that. Because if you
Mhm.
get those procedures down, you're done. And then we get into the design factor, and it's like, what tool are you using to manage your projects? And you're
Mhm.
using a ClickUp still, if I recall.
I'm using ClickUp right now. That is, I'm migrating into Fluent boards,
Okay.
and I've been into. I bought into the Fluent ecosystem
Yeah.
when I started seeing some of the tools independently that they brought out started to become interconnected. And so you talk about the inbox, and this is still a training thing with a lot of customers that don't email me directly because I have staff that does monitor the support at onedog.solutions email. And that's been a hard one for customers to get away from emailing me
I,
directly.
how many times have I tried to implement a customer support portal in the last 2 years? You know the answer to that. And you know I gave up again. So my customers love to email me directly. But the problem with that is the minute my VA gets involved, she just internally opens up a ticket and says, okay, we've opened up a ticket and here you go, and here's your ticket number. We'll get to it. So it
Yep.
doesn't matter at this point. I'm not touching it either way. So it's okay.
Mhm.
That has kind of solved my pain point because I've
Sure.
my customer base thinks that they email them to you directly. They're getting my personal attention, and that's just the reality.
Yeah.
So there's that,
So
but also the managing the projects. You got
mhm.
designer and a front end developer working. You as a project guy running projects want to know where they're at, what they've done, what they haven't done, and the Fluent ecosystem. I use Notion for that, but same thing. Um,
Sure.
it tells me I can look at a glance and say this is exactly where I'm at, and I actually give my clients read access to those Notion pages, not write access, which is easy
Mhm.
to share the link. And I'm going to tell you 90% of the time they'd rather a quick paragraph email than looking at the board.
Yeah, exactly. I tried embedding, the ClickUp board or,
Yep.
using different tools, and it's hit or miss. But I will tell you that you touched on it, and I want to talk about why
But
financially and project wise, why I'm making the decision to shift again. You touched on it earlier when you with your hospitality client that is now doing better. And a lot of companies now are taking the step forward to say we put this off long enough. We need to start investing in our marketing, our aging website. We need support. Businesses are growing again. It's not as fast as some of us would like to see,
yep.
but I'm having more work that I'm going out and being able to sell than I can actually do now. And I'm just floored that I have a 100% success rate this year on proposals. I
Good.
plan on 66%. Um, that, when I've sent out, that's traditionally been, the close rate, which is great. But I don't plan on getting all of them, and that's happened this year. So I'm at the point where I'm forced to hire them, to be able to complete and deliver the projects.
Well, yeah, and the other problem I've got, and you'll understand this because you used to play in the U.S. political space. You don't as much anymore.
Mhm.
I am still heavily involved in the Canadian political space. You know that federal. Um, I don't know if you've seen the news, but the our elections in Canada are a little different than the US. The ruling party can call an election, or if there's a minority government, the House can be brought down, like in England and Britain, and then they go to election. Well, guess what? We have a minority government, the longest one we've ever had in the history of our country. And the NDP, who is supporting the Liberal government, has ripped up the agreement yesterday. So that means I can almost guarantee you we will be headed to a federal election very soon. The House is going to fall very soon. And when the minute that happens, I go insane for weeks at a time. So, and this is the worst time because what is this now? It's Christmas retail season. Welcome to the fall.
We talked about the ticketing system,
Yep.
and I've been remiss with sending out my email reminders, but it took a little bit of training, but I have most of the clients submitting tickets, and even my normal fall nonprofits. I still have a few left on my roster, and also retail clients. They're wise enough now that they wanted to start their marketing programs in July and start building the collateral. So we're ready in October, November, and December. And we can, I don't want to say sit back and put our feet up, but there's no mad dash this year.
I wish.
And
I wish.
yeah. I've been fortunate on that we've had some good planning and are working on campaigns for Black Friday, for off season, for seasonal clients, and it's fantastic. We've had a few reschedules here and there, but we're mostly on track to be ahead of the curve for once.
Yep.
I have no idea how it's happening with all the work that's going on, but it's made me a lot happier going into fall.
Yeah, I have a major retail client, actually two of them, and what they're doing next week, and their plans are pretty well in place for the holidays, except for one thing. They're doing a migration from the current ESP, email service provider, to Groundhog.
Oh,
So a
fantastic.
couple of those on the go. Our friend Mr. Adrian Toby will be happy about that, but they will be, yep, they're going to Groundhog, and there's a lot of work involved in that migration, but at least they're getting it done in September. One of the things that I really liked, speaking of migrations and prepping for the holidays, is WordPress decided to move its last update out of December into November.
Into November. I saw that.
All us
Yeah.
guys doing e-commerce, me, you, we all screamed at them and say, "How could you?" Right? So
Yeah, I have with my problem yesterday, I have a little love-hate with WooCommerce because that was the core of my issue, and the duplicate jobs between cron and action scheduler, and of course Lightspeed Cache. But
I like Lightspeed Cache.
I do.
My server's Lightspeed backend, so that's what I run typically. And
I they're fantastic, but sometimes they harden things a little bit too
too
much.
much. So
And you find yourself at 10 o'clock sorting through payment processor issues caused by, a security patch update that needed to be applied immediately.
I
And that's
give you a better one.
and
How about sorting out PHP 8.2 versus 8.3 issues caused by a caching plugin immediately? I just went
yep.
through that this week too. So there you go.
And each of those things, when they come up, if there's a problem, and I've got a lot of, I don't have cookie cutter sites that, they're not brochure sites that are out there. They're complex sites, so we have to do testing. And if there's any issues, uh, and I'm book solid with project work Monday through Friday,
Yep.
an 8 hour or 16 hour issue just took out of my project schedule.
I hear you.
So all these little things that we're jamming about, when they pop up, when you're solo or even in partnerships with other agencies, it takes a big hit. And all of a sudden you've got customers, why are we missing deadlines? And where's this? And then you scramble. So for me, it's growing the agency is getting a little bit of sanity and my life back. I've had a personal project that I have not been able to touch
Your
due to
car.
weather. Yeah, and 3 months. And it's a weekend project, and little things have popped up both personally, but mostly professionally, where I haven't been able to touch it.
Do you know
So
I have two DJI $2,000 drones in the basement, and I've flown them like 2 days this summer.
hmm,
And the reason
I
I bought those is, one of my loves outside of work is photography. So I want to shoot photography from the air. And I don't even have time to go drone flying. I mean, between my partner in life and this and family and the ongoing health issues I've been through with the wound, I mean, I'll say I'm doing pretty
I
good, but I've gone through some setbacks.
right.
Just time. What's that?
Yeah, and you have to look at I left the 9 to 5 corporate world and director level just below C-suite life behind because I was working 68 hours a week, flying across the country, and taking a step down and doing some lesser roles, and then finally opening up my agency. I did that to get a little bit more freedom, and then you find yourself right back where you were. So
Yep.
that's why I want to, build my agency and do it the right way and build a fun environment for everyone to work in, and put some good work out there and help businesses grow.
Your problem is you have two office staff that I think are sleeping through the
They're deadbeats.
yeah, they're no help to this mess. So let's kind of wrap it up a little bit. So I hope some people get where your thought process and my thought process is in this, because we share a lot of the similar things. Ryan and I talk in Slack or by email pretty well every day, every second day. So and the other thing I'd say, and I said this to you offline, it's not really do with top, but it's really important, is go find a gang of business owners that you can talk to about personal and business stuff. It's good for your headspace. So do what we do, and it kind of makes life easy. Um, if you got three things you should do right away before you're thinking about growing your agency, what are they? What's that one?
Uh, One of the biggest things is cash flow.
Yep.
Make sure that you plan salaries, whether they're contract or full-time, and you have a minimum of 6 months set aside for that, for yourself and for your employees.
Yep. Good.
Um,
Two.
Secondly, solve your pain points first. Usually that's outsourcing to an accountant for your bookkeeping or a VA for some of your admin things.
Yep.
Those are low investment stakes to test the waters out when you're handing off work, and see if you're comfortable with that. And if you are, then I think you're ready to take the next step. If you have the work to support hiring an employee, or you are in progress of acquiring that work, just hire, and
And
hire the person to do the job and fill the holes in your project, and the work will come. It will free you up to be able to go out and sell and project manage better, so you'll complete your projects faster and be able to take on more work.
Thanks, Ryan. As always, appreciate you, appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you everybody soon. Thanks so much. And if you want to find more about Ryan, go over to onedogsolutions.com, and there's kind of links to everything Ryan does there. And be sure to ask him about why he hires two deadbeat office managers, because thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Hey everybody, Stunning Digital Marketing is your digital concierge. We help you put the pieces together to make your marketing success. Specialties we have including WordPress design and development, WordPress security, which is one of our most popular offerings, ads, and more. So if you want to succeed in the digital world, go on over to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and have a look at what we offer, and we'd be glad to help you. And let's jump on a call and make it happening. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com.
Very special thank you to Ryan Waterbury for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show.
This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I love you. I miss you very much. And thanks for all the inspiration over the years and your caring, your understanding, and helping me grow as an individual. Thank you, Dad.